Hey, it's Glam. I think it's time that I can talk about my near-death experience. Many people have been asking me, and the truth is, it's so incredibly sci-fi that I've held off talking about it because it just sounds so incredibly out there. But with everything going on in the world, since now we can be at the grocery store and casually mention interdimensional orbs and beings, strange mystery drones, it really feels much more comfortable to speak about an incredibly sci-fi experience that if I hadn't have had two witnesses, I probably would have never told anyone. But instead, what I did was start a podcast back in 2013. So let's begin. On February the 23rd, 2012, I had my experience. Within a couple of weeks prior to that, I'd been told by two different doctors that I should be eating 3 teaspoons of salt a day because I happen to have low blood pressure. I always have. I fainted quite a few times in my life. No big deal. I'm a fainty kind of a person. But I wasn't eating the 3 teaspoons of salt. Surprise, surprise. And February 23rd, 2012, my blood pressure crashed, and I didn't at the time even know how serious it was. I went icy cold. I was with 2 people who helped me. I was at a residence in Malibu, and they laid me down on a couch, and I was icy cold. They put a very warm thing over me, thank goodness, and they were very thoughtful. They even put my little dog by me. Then they carried on talking about cars, so clearly we were not that worried about me. I guess we were thinking, I don't know what we were thinking, but the last thing you think of is a near-death experience. But unbeknownst to me, my blood pressure was crashing to a dangerous low level, and I apparently went a very bad color, but I was still conscious, and I began to speak, and what came out of my mouth were words that I can't say I own, because I spoke scientific information for about 45 minutes, and I had not only zero background in science, I had zero interest in science. I am the girl who was Miss Art, Drama, music. That was everything in my life. I was in entertainment since I was a child. I was all about performing, writing, comedy, and I was an artist. My art's sold around the world. I was very, very fortunate to have successful careers in entertainment and also in art and design. Not science, right? So the first thing that comes out of my mouth, I literally, from lying down position, sat up, leaning on the cushions of the couch, kind of at probably about a 45-degree angle, but I felt the need to sit up, and I just started to speak. And the first words I said was, "Everything is an illusion. It is all our perception of an infinite range of frequencies and vibrations." And I continued to talk with no ums and ahs, just flawlessly. And it was just coming through me is the only way I can describe it. It was just coming through me effortlessly. And I spoke about very profound things: life, death, what happens to us, the nature of reality, the nature of time. And my body disappeared from my perception, right? So we're talking really, really out there for me at the time. And unless you've ever had your body disappeared, it kind of feels like a pretty out there thing. But I didn't feel fear. I just looked down and poof, no body. I was in what felt like outer space. There was a blackness, and what I saw was very specific. I saw a lattice grid of energy balls, no lines between them, no connections, just this flawless grid of energy balls. I didn't even know at the time to call them a lattice grid. But after the experience, I was heavily researching for 16 months when I started my podcast, and I was interviewing scientists from around the world, especially about particular topics. Because in the experience, out of all of the profound information that I was told, and I really truly felt I was being given a look through the keyhole of how the universe really works, the messages I was left with was sound can heal anything, and music is the key. And I spoke this out as part of the just talking that I did that was coming through me. It was tremendously emotional. I was sobbing at the end of it. I felt I had lived 1,000 lifetimes and grieved in that few minutes after the experience. When I was sobbing, I felt I was grieving 1,000 losses of loved ones. It was terrible. I saw a particular area of the world that I was sobbing on behalf of. That the messaging to me was, this area of the world struggles, and it is by design, and it was just so very, very painful. But I had the strongest messages was sound can heal everything. Music is the key. The journey I began was very intense. I've studied sound healing in Glastonbury. I've studied color theory and healing in Cambridge in the United Kingdom. I have studied everything to do with frequencies and continue to, because obviously it's an infinite learning journey. That is what led me to ham radio in 2020, just to work around frequencies. But my journey into frequencies began in 2012, and that's probably enough for today. But I want to leave you with something. One of the things I learned when I was studying sound healing is that it's all about the intervals. Rather than one particular tone, it's about the intervals. Anyone whose music will understand when you play one note, do, it's a single note, but once you go do, re, that's the second interval. That's the second note. There's a magic with the perfect fifth, and I'm going to play it for you, and I'm going to leave you with this. And when you hear these tones played together, you will be hearing the interval of the perfect fifth. Your body is going to respond without you knowing it, involuntarily, according to the work of John Beaulieu, who wrote the book Human Tuning, which amazingly is actually on TikTok. I've put it in my showcase along with a set of forks like my harmonic set. The nitric oxide goes through your body and all your blood vessels and kind of cleans them out. I think you're going to find it does something for well-being as well, mentally. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the comments, and let me leave you with this.